Hello and welcome to the place, the thing. My name's Matt. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And in today's live stream, I am doing something a little different. I am doing my top 10 games 2024 edition. This is actually the first edition because I've never done my top 10 before. This isn't just of 2024, this is games that I have played since I started playing board games and started this channel. So yeah, it's exciting. I was going to do this before Christmas in 2024, and then I got ill, and then stuff happened, and more stuff happened, and basically here we are, 10th of January, doing the top 10 eventually. So I have collated a list, and I've used a website which some of you may know, PubMeeple. And so with PubMeeple, you put all your games in there that you've played. You can download a list from BGG, and then you vote. You have 2 games at a time. You vote for your favorite one, and it goes through combinations of different games that you have played, and you always vote on one. And then eventually, after a while, especially if you've got a lot of games, you've played a lot of games, you end up with a list of rankings from 1 to whatever. So I'm just mentioning that I used PubMeeple because they're a great website and I highly recommend using them. So without further ado, let us begin this top 10 list 2024 edition. And let's go to number 10. So number 10 is Voidfall. Now, Voidfall I got last summer at UK Games Expo. It was the last game that I bought because I was feeling like I hadn't bought enough. So I had seen Voidfall, I'd seen quite a few playthroughs of it. I really liked the look of it. I also really like Nigel Buckle and David Turtsey, more of that to come. Really love the artwork, and so I got it, and I've played it solo only, which I think probably it's best because it is a long, complicated game. And I really love it. It's really hard, and probably the reason that it's not a little bit higher, although obviously it's at number 10, so it's done pretty well, is that it just takes a lot of setup. And I only have a table, a square table that's probably like maybe 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters. So I can fit it on this table, but only just. And I think I have to have a couple of things off to the side. But anyway, I just think, see if these pictures do it justice. Yeah, it just is a really great game. It's mind-bendingly difficult at times. You have a lot of things to think about. You have like 9 cards that you can play at the start, and you've got to decide which cards you're going to play and in which combination to get certain things done, defending your regions and all that sort of thing. I think the artwork is great. The system is really clever, and yeah, even though it is hard to get to the table, and that is something that I do think about as a solo board game player, and when I'm playing lots of games for the channel, setup and teardown does become a thing. But I think it is a fabulous game and so well designed, so well designed, so well thought out. So there we go. Number 10 is Voidfall. And now we go on to number 9, and it is legendary a Marvel deck building game, although I always call it Marvel Legendary. Now, a lot of my games, when I was setting this up, I realized are from the last couple of years. And that's really because I started playing board games during the pandemic, so in 2020. So I started getting games that were popular and in the zeitgeist, basically. But Marvel Legendary was one of those games that I kept hearing about from 2012. And so I got it. And as soon as I got it, I was kind of like, I need more expansions. I got the Dark City expansion, which really beefs up the game. And then I've got several more expansions since then. And I still have everything in the main box, but the main box is full. But I do like deck builders. And so this really appeals to me. It is, oh, look at that. That's good. It is a classic deck builder. And that appeals to me. So you start off with 10 cards. They're very basic. You are buying new cards from the HQ. There you go. There's the HQ, although I don't know why all those cards are spread out like that. And you're beefing up your deck and you're attacking the baddies, the masterminds, and you have one mastermind per game. But there are lots of different masterminds. There are lots of different scenarios. So one game is never the same. I've also played this with more people, up to 4 people I played it with. And it can get a little bit long. Can get a little bit long at times, but with more people. But I just really love it. It's apart from having to do a lot of shuffling, it's really great. I have an app that randomly picks things from all the expansions in the base game that I've got. And so I can play a completely different thing at any time and have a really great solo game. So yes, Marvel Legendary. I do enjoy it. Kevin is just saying hello, I believe. I've got all my... let me see if I can... yes, you're just saying hello, Kevin. Hello. Okay, so that is Marvel Legendary number 9. And for number 8, I have Viscounts of the West Kingdom, which is a game from Garfield Games by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. Garfield Games, you will see that I like them. There is another one of their games in this top 10. And if you know the channel, you will probably know which one it is. But Viscounts, I haven't played on the channel actually, which maybe I should do. But it is a rondel that you're going round, and there is, if you're playing solo, there is an AI board which has its own cards, which is really easy to operate. And it just has lots of very clever systems. There's a bit of going up a castle and building houses, and just very clever system. And I really love it. It's kind of classic Garfield in terms of its style. They always have the same sort of style, so the cards look very similar. Their meeples do. Their buildings always look quite similar as well. But there is something to me, there's always something in a game, if I like it, that hooks me. And for me, this has 2 hooks. It is the rondel system, so you're moving your Viscount around this rondel all the time and visiting certain spaces so that you can get cards and complete tasks. And then also the board. So you have it is a deck builder as well, actually. You have cards, and you're buying cards from the rondel, which go into your discard, but you put one card out at a time. Oh, actually, you can see better here. Yeah, so you'll have your cards on the left-hand side, and then you will play one card at a time, and then the cards move down. So you're not playing lots of cards on your turn, you're just playing one. But then they all have symbols on them, which will give you resources. And so it's a really interesting deck builder. It's quite slow, but it works so well. And what I like about playing a solo as well is that the AI player does exactly the same thing. They use the other side of the boards. And yeah, so you're trying to beat the AI. You're not trying to get your highest score. You're not beating your own score in this. I love it so much that I have all the expansions. I bought the big box. I don't know if they have the big box on here, maybe not. But I just have played this so many times. Not recently, but as you can tell, when it came up, when I was voting, it just kept winning. It just kept winning. So that is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. And there will be more from Garphill Games. So that was number 8. Number 7 is Pandemic Legacy. Now, Pandemic Legacy was one of the first games I played. So if you can imagine me holed up in a village in Yorkshire, discovering this world of board games that I had never seen before. Like I didn't really know about modern board games, I don't think, until I started looking on YouTube. And this came up, the Pandemic Legacy series. I have season 2 here because I think it's the best, but I've played all of them. And because it was a game that you're playing against, I knew that I could play it solo. And I love the idea of the board changing and cards changing and the whole sort of parts of the way you play it changing as well. So I had to get it, and I had so much fun. Like I would have such great afternoons playing this game. And I nearly, once I'd finished this, I nearly kept bits of it to frame because I'd had such a good experience with it. Like I was totally geeking out about Pandemic Legacy. Let me show you. Oh, I should say Rob Davio and Matt Leacock designed it. And let me show you some. There's not many pictures because it's a legacy game, so things do change. But yes, yes, all the manuals, and you have stickers to put in the manuals. At this point, I didn't even realize modern board gaming was a thing. And so to find a game where you don't know all the rules at the start and you're filling in parts of the manual with stickers, and it was just so cool. And it really distracted me from what was going on in the world, which is probably part of the reason I like board games now. Anyway, so there we go. That is Pandemic Legacy Season 2, but I would recommend Season 1 and Season 0 as well, which was the last one. These pictures bring back good memories. There is the starting board. Yes, and as you can see, there are numbers on there, so there are things that go on there, and this board changes as well. And anyway, I won't go into too many details, but I highly recommend Pandemic Legacy, and it is my number 7. So number 6 is Halls of Hegra. Is that right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes. Halls of Hegra. So Halls of Hegra is a proper solo game. This is a one-player game. You could play it with other people. You could help each other out. This is a game that is based around a siege that happened in the Second World War in Norway, and you're basically trapped in a castle, I think, and you're trying to get supplies in because you know you're going to be locked in there because the German troops are coming. You're trying to get enough supplies and enough people that you can survive till the end of the game, and it is hard. And I know some people think it's too hard, but it's one of those games where I think this is thematic and it's not going to be easy. And there are ways you can make it a little bit easier that are just in the game anyway. But I just love it. There is bag building, resource management. It's really brutal. There are cards that you play every round that bring more troops onto the board and just make things more difficult for you. One of the things I really love about this game actually is that everything is on the board, so everything you have to go through in a round is there on the board. So it really mitigates a lot of looking in the rule book. Once you know the way the game goes, you don't have to look at the rule book too much. And it has some just really interesting mechanics in it. You get new things that will help you from here. If you're clearing snow, you're clearing things away from bits of equipment. You're on this map, so you're bringing people back with supplies. People get injured and will go into the hospital unit, and you're trying to get them well, and you can put medical people in there to make them better quicker. And then sometimes people are going to die, and that will affect how things work at the end of a round. And yes, here are your supplies, the little yellow thing of supplies. And believe me, this person has a lot of supplies. But there's some lovely. There are 3 bags, I think, actually, that you. Oh goodness, what that's about. That you draw from. Yes, someone's done themed bags. Oh goodness me, a lot of themes there. And also there are 3 different sections to the whole game, and this board here changes every section. And I just think I don't usually like war games. War isn't my thing. But I really, really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it. Kevin, I've always wanted to play a Pandemic Legacy game. I don't tend to play solo much, so it's hard to justify buying it only for myself at this moment, and I don't have a consistent group of people to play with. Yeah, that's tough then, Kevin. You can probably get Pandemic Legacy quite cheap, I would imagine, and it's definitely worth it if you fancy it. Okay, let us move on from Halls of Hegra. So that was number 6, and we're going to number 5, and that is not number 5. I beg your pardon. These are my honourable mentions. So my first honourable mention is Slay the Spire, and the reason I haven't included this is because I only started playing it in November, and I feel like recency bias might play a little part in this. I don't know. But as an honourable mention, Slay the Spire, please, let's give it up for this this game. It has been adapted from the digital version, which I've played as well. And it just works so well. And they've spent a lot of time making it work as a card game, which is kind of ridiculous because it's a card game, you know. So it's kind of inevitable almost that it would become a board game, but they haven't just done a, there you go, just port it across, do it on the cheap. Nothing about this cheap. I mean, it's not a cheap game either, but the box is great. The cards are great. The quality is great. Everything in it is really well done. Let me show you some pictures of it. Yeah, so yeah, we've got the merchant board here, which flips over and has loads of information on it when you're playing it normally. Really nice cards. Nice little figures, which I'm sure a lot of people have played. And, oh gosh, I just love this. I played this with my partner and we won. And we were like, yes, this is a great game. And I play it solo as well. I've played it on the channel if you want to go and watch some videos of this solo. Please do. But it imitates the digital version really well. Really well. But it takes all, because you can do a lot of damage and take a lot of damage in the digital version of Slay the Spire. But here everything is reduced, but they've made all the cards work really well. So also you can see here things like you roll one die every turn, and this die, it's just one roll, but it affects so many things. So it affects the enemies that you're attacking. You also have cards, which I don't know if you can see there, which, yeah, there's one there you might not be able to see very well, but when you roll that number, that it activates that card. And then the enemies also have other ways of working, like they have spaces where you put a red cube and the cube moves down, so they activate differently each turn, but you can see what they're going to do each turn. Oh, look at that. Looks lovely. So here we are with 4-player game where everyone's attacking their own row, but no, sorry, everyone can attack any of the enemies in any row, but your enemies are attacking you in your row. It's just been beautifully thought out, and look at it. It looks so good. It really does. I've enjoyed so much of my time with Slay the Spire, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is on my top 10. Remember, that is just an honourable mention. I'd forgotten myself. Okay, so the next honourable mention is Tales from the Red Dragon Inn, which is a game I've had for, I would say at least a year and a bit. When did it come out? 2023. Yeah, I got it quite soon. I ordered this from America. Crazy. But I'm so glad that I did. I love this game. I think... Oh, that's a souped up version. Painted. Oh, they look good. I think this is probably my favourite dungeon crawler. Just because it's so much fun. It's quite light. But the characters feel very different. And also what I really love about it is that when you attack, you always hit. So with a lot of games, like Gloomhaven games, I've played the sort of the base game of Gloomhaven. Oh, it just nearly came to me then. And it's great, but there are turns you can feel like it doesn't work out for you and you can't do anything. And with Tales from the Red Dragon Inn, it just always feels fun, whatever you're doing. I know the artwork is maybe not to some people's taste, it's quite cartoony, but that's the theme they're going with. The sort of text in between battles is fun and light and cheeky. And yeah, there's the box and a octopus. I think it's a really great dungeon crawler. Also, it has maps, which are big pieces of paper, and they have all the enemy stuff on them as well. So that works really well. Oh, you can just see here, maybe? Yeah, and maybe in the background there's some text there on the actual piece of paper. So they have like, I think it's over 20 of these, and they're double-sided, and they're just really easy to get out rather than having tiles that you need to put out. Yes, that is my second honorable mention. It didn't quite make it into the top 10, but I really love this game. Okay, let us get on with number 5. So, number 5 is Cascadia. So, here we go for something a bit lighter. From 2021 by Randy Flynn. And this game really, I have played it solo, and it was a very early game I played on the channel. It's probably a little bit not in focus and stuff. But I generally like to play this with other people more than solo. And it just is really easy to get to the table. It's easy to explain. It's easy to play. The turn structure is super simple, and yet it has depth as well, and it looks really good. Like, you're building your own personal sort of park, basically, and you're populating it with animals, with salmon and bears and elk and foxes and all sorts. And there's a real, this is the hook for this game as well. There's a real satisfaction in building it out. And I really like to go for, you're supposed to build areas as well. You score areas for like forest and wetlands. And I really like how it feels as you play it. And that's the hook for me, is building your own personal environment. Also, it's you have a bag for the animals, and you're drawing animals out of there. I really love that. They're really nice little wooden tokens. I would definitely take this. If I thought there were people that were interested in playing a game, I think this is a really good one to start with, because it's simple enough, but very satisfying, and does have complexity if you want to like really get into it. So that is Cascadia, my number 5. I'm just gonna have a drink of chamomile tea. How are we doing? Yes, Kevin, I agree. Love games like Cascadia that are easy to learn and hard to master. That's exactly right. I do like complex games, especially if I'm going to play solo and I know it's fine and it's just me. But playing games like this that immediately hook people into it, I love that. My family really loved Cascadia, and I was really pleased about it. Okay, number 5. Lands of Galzir. Now, a lot of people, I think, wouldn't even consider this a game because there is no end to it. So you have this. This is a good picture. You have this board, which is Galzer, and then you have a character, and you have lots of dice, and you do lots of skill checks. So this is rolling dice, skill checks, and there is an app as well, which I don't usually like games with apps, but this one is just so well written, and it doesn't affect the board so much. So your cards and where you're going will affect the board, and there will be cards that go onto the board as well. But it's simply telling the story, so I'm quite fine with that. But it's just what I love about this is that's weird. Is the way that you create this story. So you will get tasks that you have to do, which you can see one here, and you will take them, and it will take you to places on the map, and then you use the app to do skill checks within that scenario, and there will be effects because of that, and if you fail there will be negative effects, but they never, like, you never die or anything like that. You're just going around this world having adventures, and it literally keeps going. I have played quite a few games of this on the channel, actually, if you want to go and look at some, and it just keeps going. I've never had the same adventure again. There's just so much in it, and there is a expansion that's coming out this year, I think, maybe the end of this year, supposed to be. It's just a small expansion, and it adds another character and lots of new cards. So I know when I get that, I will get it out again, start playing again. But I haven't got to the end of everything at all. And the great thing is I could just pick it up. It's so easy to set up. I could play it right after this and I will be fine. And you just need to read the cards that you've got to find out where you are in a certain adventure, and then go to the place and do it. I just think it's really lovely. It's a really chilled out game. You don't need to stress out about it. I'd like to play this with other people, actually, because you can team up on adventures as well. But that is Lands of Galzir, which was a surprise to me in a way that it came in so high. Now we're into the top 3. Oh, before, Kevin, love Lands of Galzir. Can't wait to get the expansion. Also, their other games are superb as well. I will have to check out their other games, actually. I'm not sure what other games they have put out. I do not know. So we're going to the top 3. Oh, you might have just seen a little flicker of what it was. And here we go. Here's number 3. Number 3 is Imperium, but more specifically Imperium Horizons. Now, this is another game by Nigel Buckle and David Turtsey, who did Voidfall as well, which was my number 10. And I actually have it out here because, let me just see if you can see it. Yeah, because I got this out yesterday because I want to play it. And I haven't played it for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So I just was like, I really want to play another civilization. So Imperium, there's Imperium Legends and something else. Yeah, can't remember. You know I'm bad with names if you if you watch my videos. And I think this is the best one. I have a story with Imperium, is that I had both of the original ones and I got rid of them. Because the rule book was so confusing, and no rule book is perfect, but this rule book in this new one, Imperium Horizons, sorts it out. And also they've just added a few new things which just make it a little bit smoother. There's a kind of new little expansion in this as well. And I just love the deck building in this game, and it's a really complex deck builder. It's, as I say here, it's 3.96 out of 5 weight, which, take it with a pinch of salt, but it is more complex. But I really enjoy this game. And also, I should say the reason that I got this was because I'm so excited about Star Trek Captain's Chair, which is also designed by these guys and is based on the Imperium system and is coming out very soon, hopefully. And I was so excited about that I just thought, I want to play that again. Why did I get rid of those games? So I got Imperium Horizons. I haven't played this on the channel yet, which I'm tempted to play. Maybe just there is a solo version where you just play the civilization rather than having an AI player. So I'm thinking I might play one of those on my channel as well. But I really love Imperium Horizons. Again, these two gentlemen, they put so much effort into the mechanics of their games, and I just love it. It really impresses me, So that is my number 3, Imperium Horizons, but moreover, Imperium in total. Oh yeah, and there you can just see some of the great artwork as well, I have to say. These cards look so great, I think. Just love the artwork. Yeah, so that's Imperium Horizons, my number 3. And number 2 is, well, Legacy of You. Now, if you do watch my channel, you will know I love Legacy of You. I am currently playing through a whole set of games. You can have up to 14 games in one campaign. And I'm actually playing game 9 tomorrow, I think, or Sunday. Again, for me, this is the perfect balance between getting things out on the table and having a great time. It is so easy to set up. It has such a brilliant, let me see if I can find a box. Great artwork. I'm sure there's, there you go. So this is the box. So everything has its own spot. It's a clear plastic insert, and underneath they have all the stuff, so you know exactly where everything goes. I never take everything out of the box. I keep all this stuff in here. And then the gameplay is great, and you have certain cards which tell you to go and read something in the storybook, and that will change how the game plays. And also, if you win or lose during the 14 at most games in the campaign, it will make things easier or harder. And so it changes the whole way the whole potentially 14 games play, because you might get something at the start which it really makes you have to do certain things differently, which wouldn't happen in another playthrough of the 14 games. So here's a good view of all the components. I've had hours and hours and hours of entertainment out of this game, and I've played, this is my 3rd campaign that I'm playing now. So I can't say enough about, if you're a solo board gamer, it might be that you don't like the game. We all have different tastes in games. But if you like worker placement, and if you like playing solo, try Legacy of You. Also, it's pretty cheap. It's not super expensive. And I just would highly recommend it. Kevin says, yes, love that for number 2 spot. I haven't watched most of your recent live streams because I want to get it and would spoil it for myself. Kevin, I've played a lot of other games rather than Legacy of You, but I understand your point. So that is my number 2, Legacy of You. Yeah, it's got an 8.1. It's pretty damn good, gotta say. Strategy, it's ranked 284. Rank overall, 540. Oh. That is not surprising to me. Designed by Shem Phillips. I really recommend it. Really, really, really. So that's number 2, Legacy of You. So here we go. Big drum roll, please. Number 1 is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Well, let me tell you, this was a kind of surprise to me because the last time I played this was when I got the expansion, and I wasn't a huge fan of the expansion. I think I did a review of it on here. I definitely unboxed it. And so it was a little surprise to me that this came first. But having said that, I love playing this game with other people. I need to play it again because it's so much fun. There is something really satisfying about this game for me because it's not a deck builder, but you have a deck of cards and you do select cards at the start of the game to make your deck better. And the card play, I love card play. It's just so interesting. And then on top of that, you are racing each other. So the visual demonstration of your battle with other people is there on the map to see. There's no counting scores at the end or, working out how many cards you've got or how many points were on your cards. If you cross the finish line after the certain number of going round the track, you have won. It's so visual. And so that in combination, I've played other sort of racing games, but for me, this is the best. And it's my number 1 game. I just love how it plays. And also, one of the other things I really like, oh, here they are, working it all out. Wow, that is so interesting. It does not look like this anymore. I'm just going to try and I bet there are loads of these, aren't there? Yeah. Yeah, so where was I? Oh, yes, the other thing that I love, if I can get to a picture of it. Great cards, great boards. I think that was probably it. So yeah, here you can see there are gears as well. So you can move up and down gears from 1 to 4. And that tells you how many cards you can play on that turn. And you're trying to get around corners because there you go. The corners have certain numbers on them. So if you go above that number, then you are penalized by having heat cards go into your deck, and heat cards are bad. They gum up your deck. So these gears and the number of cards you can play is really important. And if you're in too high a gear and you want to move down by 2, you have to pay a penalty for that as well. So you've really got to manage your cards really cleverly. So it's really a card game, a hand management game, but with the visuals of the cards on the track, it just elevates it completely for me. Also, I would say about this game, one of the great things, if you want to play it solo, they have something called the Legends, which is basically a pack of cards, and you flip over one card at the start of each turn, or when it's the AI player's turn, and you can move all the other cards with one card. It's so simple to do. So you can have a solo game with all the other cards on the track. And it's really important you have other cards on the track because you can slipstream which means when you land behind or next to another car, you can move past them, use their slipstream basically. And so the AI just works so well. So even if you're playing with 2 or 3 people, you can have all the other cars playing as well. And that system works so well that, again, it just elevates it for me. And if anyone ever says, do you want to play a racing board game? It would be Heat every time. Every single time. I just think this game is the best. And it has made it to the top spot. So there we go. That is my number 1, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. And that is my top 10. Yeah, no, Kevin, I did not expect that one as well. Oh, you play it on BGA? Yes, I played it on BGA as well. I haven't played on BGA for a while, but it's a great game. Okay, so there we go. That is my top 10. So we have Voidfall at 10. We have Legendary, a Marvel deck building game, at 9. We have Viscounts of the West Kingdom at 8. We have Pandemic Legacy at 7. We have Halls of Hegra at 6. And then we have Cascadia at 5. Lands of Galzir at 4. Imperium Horizons at 3. Legacy of You at 2. And Heat, Pedal to the Metal, at 1. I'm going to be super excited to do this again next year. I'm going to do more top 5, 10 lists as I go on, because I really enjoy doing them as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this one. I think that's all I've got to say. Kevin, thank you for joining me and commenting along. It has been a pleasure, Kevin. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and please subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you in the next live stream or video. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Have a lovely day. Bye.